So welcome back to hotel booking application. This is the part two. In part one, we have completed the project setup, component creation also we have done, right? Let me just show you the components we have created, right? Then login page implementation we have done, and on click of login button, we have integrated our login API also, right? So this is the user I'm going to use, Chetan. Let's put it over here. Let's get the password also and click on sign in. API call was made, and whatever the response we get, that we have stored inside the local storage also. Let me show you the login component as well. So you can see after we get the response from the API call, we have stored the data into the local storage with this key, and we have navigated to the dashboard page, right? So now once we are logged in, we need to, in the navbar, you can see we have the navbar, right? But here we need to show the logged in username and the logo button also, right? So for that, I will just need another navbar where I can have some in button over here. So let me just find that. Okay, so from Bootstrap official site, I have just got this navbar where I have this search button and everything. So here we will be using that, right? So navbar is looking like this. Now, right. So in navbar, we have to show the logged in username also. So that we will show over here instead of this text box. Let's use let's get a H6, and here we need to show the logged in username. Now, whatever the logged in user data we have stored into the local storage. So let's check the local storage. Inside that, you can see in this key, we have got the data. So that we need to read, right? So in layout.component.ts, let's create constructor. Let's create a variable logged user data colon any, right? And over here, first we need to read the local storage data. So whenever you are reading the local storage data, always make sure you store it in the local variable, add a null check, because that is very mandatory now. So local data is equal to local storage dot get item, right? Our key name, right? So our key name is nothing but hotel user. So this we have to pass it over here. Then an additional null check, local data not equal to null, then only we have to parse it. So in login page, when we store the data, we have converted that into string format. Now again, we have to convert it back to the object format, right? So for that, we have to store it into this variable is equal to json.parse method we have to use. And we have to pass this local data over there. Right? Now in this variable, we will get the data. So that data, we can use it over here. So if this question mark dot, what will be the property name? That is nothing but username we have to show, right? This optional parameter is because on the page load, it is going to be undefined. So it should not break. That's why we have to add the question mark operator as well. So let's save that. We should be able to see the logged in username. Okay, so you can see logged in username is available over here. Now, instead of this search button, we need it to be log off button. So let's log off, and it will be button. And on click of log off, we just need to clear the local storage and redirect to the login page. So click on log off. Let's create this function. First, we need to remove the local storage data, right? So local storage dot remove item, and the key will be same key, right? Hotel user. And we need to make this variable also undefined, because in this variable we are storing, right? So this also we need to make undefined. And we need to redirect. Now from component.ts, we need to redirect. So obviously we have to create the router instance. So private router colon router. So using navigate method, we have to navigate back to the login page. This dot router dot navigate by URL, and we need to pass our login URL. 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 And we /login. So let's test this also. Like on click of log off, now our local storage should get clear and we should redirect to the login page. Right, so you can see currently in local storage we have the data, but if I click on login, you can see local storage dot clear, and again we have land to the login page also. Right, so login page functionality is completed. Let's log in again. Now, next first part, like first page we are going to target is creation of rooms, right? So let's close this. This is also not needed. Now we have the navigation, right? So let's add the URLs first. So home page is nothing but dashboard. So instead of when we have to navigate, right? So we don't use href, we have to use router link, and we have to pass our route name, whatever the route we have created. So dashboard, let's call it as home. Then after that, we will have new booking. New booking. This will be router link. Just like that. Let me just copy paste. New booking, then booking list. So that will be bookings. What else? Rooms page also we are going to need. Rooms. These menus will also be visible for a particular user only. So that we will do afterward. But first we have to complete everything. The basic CRUD operation and everything. And the last link is booking calendar. Booking. Okay, let's close this. We don't need this. So let's just save and check. And on click of it, pages are opening or not, that we can check. So new booking, you can see component is getting loaded, bookings, rooms, and booking calendar. So first component we are going to target is rooms. So let's check the APIs for the rooms. Okay. So for creating room, we have one API that is get all room. This API will be responsible to get all the rooms we have, and we just have to show it into the page, right? Then we have add only one method, one API is there, which is responsible to add and update also. But if you see the response here, we have to send it as an array. Means it is a bulk update. At a time, multiple rooms you can create, right? So this scenario means you can create a table with inline editing, and you can whole table data you can send at a one go, right? So that user don't have to click add and save multiple times. He can add all the rooms at one go, and on click of submit, whole table data we can send it to this API, right? So first API call we have to do is get all rooms. So let's write that. Now we have created the service, right? So only one service was there, so we will create a function over here. So first function get all rooms, return this dot http. That method will be get, right? The actual end method name, that is get all room. This only we need. Then remaining our endpoint we have already stored in a variable, that is nothing but this dot API endpoint, like this. Okay, so this is our get API call. So you can see it is returning data type of object, get all rooms. Just like that, I will create my save and the delete also. Save, update, room. API endpoint will be something else. That will be add update bulk room. Let's copy. This is going to be post API. So that's it, post object, whatever the object we get that we are passing over here. And the last one is for the delete room. Let's check the delete room. It is with the delete, right? And the ID is something like this. So let me show you the URL. We have to pass the parameters. So if I send two over here, so my URL will look like this, right? So this is my ending point. Let's copy it. Let's paste it over. Instead of post, it is going to be delete, right? So delete API is there, right? Now, instead of this static one, whatever the ID we get, that ID we need to pass it over here. So plus ID. So our URL will be dynamic now. Got it? So our basic API call functions are ready. Now these functions we have to call from the component itself. Right. So let's go to the room component now. This is the room HTML and .ts, only two files we are going to use. Now, first on the page load, we have to call the get API call, right? So on the page load means we have to implement our lifecycle hooks, that is on init. Implement on init. And once we implement it, we have to write the ng on init function as well, right? Constructor also we are going to need because we have to create the room service object over here. So private room srv colon room service. Now we will create one more function, get all rooms. Here we have to make the API call. So this dot room service dot get all room. This API call we have to make, and that API call is going to respond. That this function is going to return the data we get from the API. We need to subscribe to that, right? Same thing everywhere. Now, whatever the data we get, that we need to store it into some variable, right? So we need to create a variable. Let's say room list. Always try to give proper variable name so that you, by looking at the variable name, you need to understand what we are going to store into that, right? So by room list, we can say room data will be there, right? So this dot room list is equal to res dot data. And this we have to call on the page load, means once component initialized, that will be under ng on init. We can call the same method in constructor also, but API call should be triggered from ng on init. Constructor should be used only for the initialization purpose, right? Now, whatever the data we get, that we need to display in the table format. So let me just create a row column structure first. Row call 12. Here we need table class table. Right, then t head will be constant t head we are going to need. Inside that tr and th. Serial number. What are the number of columns we are going to have that we need to display? Let's check get all rooms. Do we have any data or not? Try it out, execute. Okay, one room is there. So see what number of properties you have now. All you need to show it in that table. So it's just not the room ID, because that is the primary key. Primary key we don't show it anywhere, right? So room name. So after this, first will be th room name. Let me just copy paste. Then is available. Just text column name we are going capacity is active room type and extension number. Active tariff, and extension number. Right. This tier work is done. Then we need T body. Inside that TR and multiple TDs. What number of TH we had, same number of TD also we are going to need. So let me just copy paste. On the TR, we are going to use the for loop. So star ng for let room of our variable name, that is room list. So on this variable, we are going to use the for loop. And we have to display the serial number also. So comma let sr is equal to index. Now here we have to print the serial number that will be with sr plus 1 because index will start with 0. Right. After that, room dot, what are the properties we have that we need to display? Room name. Let me just copy paste this. Then is available. Sorry, it is AC available. AC. Room capacity. Then is active flag. Room tariff. One more TD we are going to need for extension number. Right. So let's just save and see if we are getting the data. Rooms component. It is not compiled yet. It is saved all. Yeah. So you can see here we are going, no, we are getting the data whatever we get from the API. But we need to do inline editing because all the table data we should be multiple rooms we will be creating at once, and on click of save button whole array we have to set, right? So for that we need to, instead of directly displaying this, we need text box over here. So input type text, and here we need to bind the ng model. And for ng model, what we will pass? Just this interpolation, whatever we have done here, na, that we need to pass it over here. Class also we will add form hyphen control. Just like that, all things we need to do. And this we don't need. Is AC available? This is going to be checkbox. So checkbox. And this same property, we have to bind it over here. Then room capacity, again, it will be text box. Let me just complete, then you will get to know what we are doing. It will be text only. Then we need again checkbox. That will be with is active. Room tariff, that will be with input type number. Because tariff is nothing but the rate. So no text should be allowed over there. So we can use number only. Then last input type, number only because we have extension number. Whatever the landline, they put it over there. So for that. Right, so let's just save and check. So you can see same data we are getting. Just we need to remove this class from input type checkbox. Form control won't work on the checkbox. Let's just remove that. Right. So you can see whatever the data we got that we have displayed into the text box. Now, if let's say we need to add one more row, so we need an add button. Okay. So above this row, I'm creating one more row. Let's create a button over here. BTN success, and it will be add new. Okay. And beside this button only, we will take one more button that will be save all record. Save, or let's say bulk update. Bulk update means at the time we are going to save multiple records, right? That is just the purpose. So let's make it primary. MX2 so that we get spacing around. Okay, let's just align it to the right side. And now, On click of this add new button, what we have to do, a empty row should be added into the table. Once I click on the add new, an empty row should be added into the table. What do we mean by empty row? Means empty object we need to push to this room list. So let's create an object. uh, Object is nothing but what, the save object, right? So add bulk room, this is the empty object. Let's copy it. Let's create room obj colon any. Instead of string, let's make it empty. Instead of true, let's make it false. Default value should be false. So that's why. Now, once we click on the add, we need to add this object to this room list. Okay. So let's create let's call a function on this button. Click add new room. Let's create this function. What we need to do in this array, we just need to add one more element, but we have to add it at the top. So this dot room list dot unshift we have to use. Unshift will add the room at the top, right? Let's save and check. Now, if I click on add, you can see multiple rows are getting added, right? Now, whatever the number okay, so you can see one more issue is there. Whatever we select in the first row or anywhere, that is getting changed because ng model is same and it is considering all the element with the same. So we can bind a name property with something unique. So let's say index we can print over here. Let's try that so that all text box, all elements will be unique. Let's try serial number, extension serial number, tariff serial number is active. Just a unique name attribute we are passing to each element. Let's check if this work or not. Still it is not. Let's check it if it has taken the name unique or not. Name room 0. Okay, but currently every row is having ID 0 only. See, here also room 0 and here also same. Okay, no, but it is room 1. That's why it is still behaving the same. Because same object we have push. Let's see. Instead of creating a global object like this, let's try to create an object over here and let's try to push it, a local variable, obj. And let's try to push it over here because it might hold a connection. Let's try this now. Let's add. Okay, now it is working properly. See, all text box are now independent, right? It is not reflecting anywhere. That is because of the object and the array was what we can say was linked, and they were having a connection. But now it is a local object, so every time a new object is created, and that is getting pushed, right? Now, on click of save button, we need to push the whole array to our API call. So save rooms, right? And this dot service room service dot save update room, this API call. And for this API call, we need to pass room list, our whole array. Let's subscribe. Here we can add a check. Doesn't matter because ultimately we are going to get save. Let me show you the response, what kind of response I'm expecting. Result. Let's add a if statement also. If res dot result, if it is true, then we can show alert box like data updated success, right? In else we can show error, and error also you will get it from the API side only. So res dot message field. And this function we have to call on this bulk update button click. So click. Let's try and save everything. So currently we just have one room, right? So let's just try to add two more rooms. Let's say Tiger, Gray Hill. Room name I'm giving. It doesn't have AC. Let's say capacity of 3 or 4 people. It is active. Tariff, let's say 4,000. Extension number 13233. Let's add one more. Orange, AC, only 2 peoples. This is also active. Let's add 2000 rate and extension number 231. Now just pay the attention to the network tab, right? If I click on bulk update, see, it is saying updated successfully. So this is the API we have hit, and in the payload, you can see we have sent whole object. Now here you can see room ID 1 because this was an existing record, but both new records, room ID is going 0, right? Let's try to reload and still you will get the same data because that data is getting stored into the array table, right? But let's say I just need to update the existing record. So let's say gray, instead of Gray Hill, let's make it gray. Now if I say, if I click on bulk update and again refresh, same data you will get to see, right? Because if you pass the room ID now, this API will, the bulk update API will update that record. If it has got room ID as 0, it will create new record, right? Now only thing is remaining is for the delete. So let's add the delete button. So in the TH, I'm adding a delete action. Let's make it action. So with inline editing, you get this, what do we say, user friendliness. So multiple data we can insert at a single go. So many things, so many advantages are over there with the inline editing. You don't have to design the form. If you have a limited number of fields now, you should always go, and users are going to be use that page multiple times. You can use the inline editing. Let's add a delete button, class, btn sm, btn danger class, or let's say remove. Now, on click of the remove button, we have to use our another API, that is delete room by ID, and we have to pass the room ID to this. So on this click, we have to pass on delete, and we have to pass the room ID. So room dot room ID, right? From this object, we are passing room ID as a parameter to this function. Let's create this function. Now from front end, we are going to get the ID. So that ID, we need to catch it over here. Now we just need to make the API calls. So this dot room service dot delete room, and we need to pass the ID. So that ID we are passing, and we need to subscribe. API call is same over anywhere, right? Let's just add a check. If res dot result is true, alert. I'm using normal alert, but you can use toaster. If you have used PrimeNG, toaster also you can use, right? But just the main purpose of the video is to complete the project flow, right? Not UI and not the fancy items. Room removed, room deleted, success. And in else, we can show the message, whatever we get from the API. So this code is constant. res dot message. Let's save this also if we are able to remove the. And once room is successfully removed, we have to load the get API call again. So this function again we have to call, because once we know that room is successfully removed, we should make the get API call again, so that that record is removed also we get to know. Let's check now. Yeah, compiled. Now let's try to remove the orange one. Data removed, and you can see that is also got removed, right? So whole operation, CRUD operation, create new record, update also done, delete also done, and get also done. So whole operation we have done in the table itself. This was with inline editing, right? I hope you must have got it how we have done the inline editing. Just because you might have known this, like how we can use ng model with the local variable from the for loop, right? But we can use it like this, right? After that, room part is done. So we have created rooms. What is the next part? Customer, we don't need to create initially, because at the time of booking only we can create the customer also. So let's start with the book page only. So you can see booking page is having single to multiple. This is a single object and we are going to have multiple guests. Single to multiple entity scenario is there, right? So in this video, let's first show the customer list, right? In the customer component, we will show the customer component is also not created. I think we forgot that. Yes. So let me just create a customer component. In the last video, we will create the booking and the booking calendar. Okay. So ng generate customer. So in this video, we will just complete the room creation and the customer part. Okay. User is also there. User also we will complete. So customer component, and user route also we have missed. So let's create that. Right now we have added two new routes. So in the layout, we need to add two links, right? Customers, let's add as this. We have to add it over here. Then users, let's go over here. Users. Let's just remove this active class. Let's save. Customer and user page is working. Right. So on the customer, we can just show the table data, and the basic CRUD form we can always do. So in customer, first in the service, let's create the API calls. Just like the get all room, we have to create a get all customer. I will just copy paste. Let's see the API call, not get all user, get all customers. Let's copy this, copy paste, and this will be get all customer. Right. So service inside our service function call is ready. Let's create constructor. Private room XRV room service implements on init. First, we need to add it over here. Previously, it used to suggest like that, but now I think they have made some changes. ng on init we have to implement. Function get customers, and here this dot room service dot get all customer dot subscribe. Same thing everywhere. Wherever we make the API call, same thing is going to be repeated. Even if you are new now, whenever you do the practice of one project now, you will get used to it. Rather than doing the copy paste, always try to write so that you will get a hand touch. Customer list colon any array of object. Then whatever the response we get, that we need to store into this variable. So res dot data, and this function we have to call on the page loads, mean ng on in it, like this, right? So our basic code is ready. Then we need to show the data. So let's copy the basic table we have created already. Always try to copy paste the things so that the development time will be less. You can focus more on the functionality, not on the UI. So let's check customer list, what fields we are getting in the customer. Name, mobile number, email. Name, mobile, email, Aadhaar number, what else? City and address. So let's display everything, city, address. Okay. Uh, Instead of, let's make it the variable name is customer list. This we have to pass it over here. Now we don't need text box, so it will be interpolation only. Cust dot, this is going to be common, so I will copy paste and remove the text box. This is not going to be inline editing, so we just have to remove the text box. Right, so let's just display the things, name, then mobile number. Always try to copy paste the field name from the API response, right? If you try to write, if you make this some spelling mistake, it won't throw the error, but data is also not visible. Then you will be playing around like wondering what is going wrong. So always try to copy paste. City, the last one is address. Let's just remove it. Let's save. Let's check if we are able to see the customers. Okay, so you can see in the customer page, we are able to see the customer. Now, uh, we will have the functionality to create the customer and the edit and update from here also. But for now, I'm just skipping it because we have to complete the user page. Same thing is going to be there, right? I will display that how you are doing to CRUD operation in the user page. Same thing you can do in the customer also. So get all customer. After that, we need the users API. Let's check what are the user API we have. Let's create the functions for that. Okay, get all user, update user. Single is there and delete user. Only 3 API calls we are going to need. So let's create those. Get all users. Let's copy it. Post also we are going to need. Post API call is add update user. So only this API is responsible to add also and update also. If you send the user ID as 0, it will create new record. But if you send the API ID as 1, it will, means not 0, it will update that record. And the delete one with HTTP delete. So let's just check. We have the parameter user ID. Let's try something. We just need that proper URL. So this is going to be my URL endpoint. Delete user. What is going wrong? Yeah, okay. Something is not correct. Okay, because we have booking for this user, so it won't allow us to delete because it has a dependency. So API calls are made. Now let's head to the user component. Now, in this user component, we are going to create a card structure. In the right side, sorry, in the left side, we will display records into the table, and in the right side, we will have a user form. So let's create that structure. Row, call, let's make it, and we will need a card, header dot bg success, and we are going to need a card body also. This what we can say structure is going to be common. So I will just copy this and paste it over here. Now we have 8, remaining is 4. In that we will have user list over here, and here user form. Now here we will have the table. So let's copy paste the table we have just created right now. Always try to copy paste so that you will save the time. Now in the user, how many fields are there? Let's check it. Only some fields are there: username, password, and the role. Not so many fields are there. Why do we need users, right? Now this application is going to be used by the hotel owner plus his staff also. Like he just need to track like who has created this booking, who has done the logout. No, means whoever has created booking and everything, right? So for that only we are creating user. So that while creating the new booking, now we have to send the logged in user ID, right? So for that we need it. Let's remove everything. Let's create the variable first. Now, same thing, whatever we have did, right? So first we are going to, all CRUD operation we are going to do in this component. So we are going to need two variables. First, user list. Inside that, we are going to store the user data. Then user object. Here, this object we are going to use to store the new object. Let's see the fields. What do we got? This number of fields only we have got. Let's empty this. User ID with 0. Right? Two variables we have created. After that, constructor, private, our service object. Then obviously on the page load, we need to call the API. So on init, implement on init. Once we do that, we need to add the ng on it as well. After ng on it. So make the sequence proper. Always variable should be at the top, then constructor, then ng on it, then your remaining methods. Right? That proper structure you should follow. Get users. This dot room service dot get all users. We need to subscribe dot subscribe. Whatever the data we get, that we need to store inside this variable. So this dot res dot data. Right. Let's use this variable on the for loop. Username, password, and the role. Just like remove button, we are going to need edit button as well. Let's save and check if we are able to see the users in the table. Let's check why we are not able to see the data. API call is not made. Why? Okay. So this function is created, but we have not called this anywhere, right? So on the page load, we have to call it so that in ng on it. Now user should be visible. Yeah. Just username is not visible because N was capital. So remember I said like always try to copy paste. You can see the live example why we have to copy paste. Right. Now in the table, we have shown the user list. Now here in this side panel, we have to design the form. So let's go to side panel and here we can design a form dot row dot call. Only 3 fields are there. Let's call 6 label username. We will need text box. So input class form control, and we need to bind this with ng model. Round bracket square bracket equal to double quote. Now we have to bind this our object, user object dot username. right? So this row was done. After that, we can have a, and we need role also. Now role will be of a drop down. Okay, not a drop down, only one role is going to be there, but we need to allow, we need to force user to select that only so that it won't be a free text value staff only, because admin role will be only once, right? So that's why only one option will be there. If he need again, we can add another rules, but just for the time being, we are making it like this. Then last will be right for password. Now, after that, we need save and the cancel button. This row got completed over here. We need cancel button. Sorry, save button only. Save user. Let's add text center. Let's save and check. Okay, so now we have the form ready also. Let's add PT3. Now on click of save user, we have to make our API call. So click on save user. Let's create this function. I'm not going to cover the validation because so many videos are there. You can refer my or anyone. So this dot room service dot which API call, save or add user. This API call we have to make, right? And we need to pass the object. So user object, sorry, dot subscribe. And here if res dot result is true, then we will show alert like user created. And if else, we will show the error whatever we get from the API side only. Let's just save and check if we are able to create the user. Let's try RAM. Staff is role only. Let's add 113344. Now on click of save user, we should see one API call in the network tab. Right? You can see one API call is there. User created successfully is there. Right? In the response, you can say true is there, but it is not visible over here because once we click on save, in case of once in the subscribe, we need to call our user page again, right? So this function we have to call over here. So let's save and check once again. Now you can see the two records. Let's create one more user, Sham 233344. Okay. If I save now, on click of OK, you can see the added record is visible over here. But why role is not coming? Let's check in the payload. Role is not going because I think we have forgot ng model. Yes. Let's copy this. Let's paste it over here. Role. Let's try now. Now role will be visible. Let's add role staff. Save user. Okay. See. Okay. So our creation part is done. Now let's get the edit part. Now for edit part, on click of edit, let's say if I click on RAM record should be visible over here. On click of edit Sham record will be visible. So we don't have any API on which call we have to make the edit. But because we just have the 4 fields, right? So on click of edit, we can just pass the object. So that will be like click on edit and we can pass the whole object. Whole object means discussed, right? Let's create this function. And here we are going to get the data. So data any, and this data we have to assign to our user object. So this dot user object is equal to data. So let's just test this much thing if it is working properly or not. Right? If I click on RAM, you can see it is getting displayed. Right? But one more thing is there. If I change over here now, you can see same data is getting changed over here also. That is because again, we have picked the object from that array and we have stored into a variable. So it will hold the link. Whenever we do change in the object, it will reflect in the array as well because that same copy we have stored into the object, right? So that we need to check it properly. So for that, we just need to connect that link. So we can just use a local variable constant obj str obj is equal to json dot stringify. We just need to break the connection of that. Whatever the data we have got that we are breaking it over here. And when we are assigning, so again, we have to use json dot parse and we have to pass this string object, not the directly object data. So now we have just disconnected the link between that array and the object. Let's just save and check now. Now if I change, see it is not reflecting right now. So with this piece of code, you can just disconnect the link. Right now, on click of update also same thing is going to same API call is going to be there, right? But let's just do one more time. So for the RAM, we don't have the stop, right? So let's select save and save user, right? So now the role is also added. So update thing is also done. Next part is remove. So on click of remove, we need to pass the ID. So on click on delete and we need to pass cust dot, it should not be cust, but let it be user ID. User ID we need to pass because for delete API, we just need to pass the user ID. We don't need the whole object. So this dot room service dot delete user, and from front end we are going to get the ID we will hold it over here, and this ID we need to pass it. Dot subscribe round bracket if res dot should be if it is result we have got true, then we can say alert user deleted. But if user has some dependency, if user has some use in some table, we have a reference to that, then we will get the error. So that we can show it from the result else block only. One more error is there, or not a error, but one functionality we need to again implement. First, let me explain this. So now, if you see, if I click on sham remove, so immediately it is getting removed. Okay, on click of once it is deleted, again we need to call get API. But it is not asking like, do you need to, are you sure you want to delete? So we can implement that functionality by creating a local variable is delete, and we can use confirm box, right? JavaScript confirm box. Are you sure want to delete? Now, confirm box will get you two buttons, save and OK and the cancel, right? So if you click on OK now, you will get true stored inside this variable. Otherwise, false. So if this variable is true, then only we need to initiate our API call. So this piece of code will do that trick. So let's save and check now. Now, if I click on remove, we get the alert box, right? But if I click on cancel, you can see no API call is there. See, but if I click on OK now you can see the API call, right? And data is also got removed. So for now, we have completed rooms creation, update and delete and everything. Customer only gate part we have done. But in user page, we have completed the whole part. So same like that in the customer also you can do. So the only part is remaining is like room booking. That is the actual part. So new booking we have to done, bookings we have to show, and the booking calendar. These three things we will cover in the next video. So that's it with the current video. If you have not seen the first part, just go to the channel videos and you can see the first part. And if you are new, please do subscribe and like my videos. That's it with this current video.